Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another historical banger on the Timeless Tea Podcast. I'm your host, aka Mugman, aka Teacup Timmy. Today, we're honored, perhaps incredibly stunned, to be joined by the 16th President of the United States. Everybody give it up for Mr. Abraham Lincoln.
Thank you kindly. It's a strange world I find myself in, but I'm pleased to speak with you.
Mr. President, it is surely an honor. Anyways, let's jump right in. When you assumed office in 1861, the country was on the brink of a civil war. How did you approach leadership in such a crisis?
With great humility and the solemn weight of the Union upon my shoulders. My foremost goal was to preserve the Union. I believed that a house divided against itself could not stand, and I dared not let that prophecy come true.
Wow, that's great. You also issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. Some critics at the time said it was a wartime measure. Was it really a moral decision or a strategic one?
It was both. I had long believed slavery was a moral wrong. But as president, I also had to weigh what would help preserve the Union. By freeing slaves in rebellious states, struck at the Confederacy's labor force and added moral clarity to our cause.
Looking at today's America, where civil rights are still being debated and racial inequality still persists, how would you see the progress?
I am heartened that slavery has long been abolished and that Americans of all races may vote, speak, and pursue education. Yet, I see that the work of justice is not finished. Liberty is not a static gift. It must be tended to like a garden. The ideals of the Declaration that all men are created equal remain an aspiration that must be renewed by every generation.
You were also famously criticized for suspending habeas corpus. What would you say to today's defenders of civil liberties?
I never took such decisions lightly. In rebellion, the Constitution is tested. I feared that if I allowed the laws to be silent when the nation's life was at stake, there would be no laws left to speak once the danger passed. But I also believe power must be returned once the storm abates.
Let's talk about your eloquence. Gettysburg, the second inaugural, both enduring speeches. Do you think your rhetoric still holds power today?
Words can unite, inspire, and heal, but they must be married to purpose and action. The great danger today, as ever, is empty rhetoric. A nation should beware of those who speak loud but mean little.
What role did your upbringing play on shaping your views of slavery and inequality?
I was born in a log cabin in Kentucky, and I worked hard for everything I ever had. I didn't have much formal education, but I came to understand that every man should have the opportunity to rise by his own efforts. Slavery denies that very right. It treats some men as property, not as people. That, to me, is both morally wrong and contrary to the ideals this country was founded upon.
How did you handle the immense pressure of leading the country through such a bloody and divisive war?
The burden was heavy. I won't deny that. There were nights when the weight of every fallen soldier felt like it rested on my shoulders. But I believed, deep in my soul, that the Union must be preserved, not just for our generation, but for all those to come. My faith, my cabinet, and the people's endurance helped carry me through. As El often said, I must stand with anybody that stands right.
Looking back now, is there anything different that you would have done during your presidency?
I believe any man, upon reflection, might wish he'd done some things better or sooner. Perhaps I could have acted more swiftly on emancipation. Perhaps I could have bridged divides earlier. But I did what I thought was right at the time, with the information and the circumstances I faced. History will be the true judge of my decisions.
If you could give one piece of advice to America today, what would it be?
Remember the better angels of your nature. Division is a creeping poison, and it thrives on fear and ignorance. Let your politics be guided not by hatred of opponents, but love of country. And never forget, government of the people, by the people, for the people must be nourished, or it shall perish.
Mr. Lincoln, thank you. Your words resonate as powerfully today as they did in the 1860s.
Thank you. May your time learn from the past and build a more perfect union than even I could imagine.
All right, that's all, folks. I hope you all had a wonderful time here on the Timeless Tea Podcast. With that being said, bye, everybody.